Annastacia, Palaszczuk, thank you very much for making the time for this conversation.
Yep.
What are you going to do that you can walk away with at the end of the 4 years, regardless of how the rest of the state reads it, and feel good about yourself?
Well, I think over the 4 years, we need to get as much through the pandemic as we possibly can. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't sit here and tell you all what's going to happen in 2 or 3 or 4 years' time. We have to just plan to the best of our capability. I'd like to see a more equal Queensland. I'll give you this one example. This is something I looked at the other day, and I'll just make some comments on it. So I was standing the other day at a press conference. There was myself, the Health Minister, the Police Commissioner, and we're all standing there, and I looked around and I thought to myself, it's all women. And then I said to someone in my office, I said, did you realise that press conference? I never thought I'd see the day where all the 4 people speaking at the press conference were women. And he said, I didn't even notice. Because it's become normal. Because it's become normal. And to have a cabinet, 50% when we were first elected as well, I think we're just one off at the moment. But if you add in our assistant ministry, we are. We've got more women in our public service. And I think that sends a message that if you want to talk about equality, you've got to practice it. And I tell every young girl, including my nieces, be strong, be confident, and have opportunity.
And I must say, you reminded me of a conversation I had on stage with Julie Bishop not long after she stepped away from politics. And so she was speaking rather candidly for the first time about this stuff. And she described how invisible and unheard she felt like in the cabinet room of the ministries that she served in.
But that's not in my cabinet.
Yes.
In my cabinet, everyone is equal. Everyone gets a say.
Now, this might or might not be a hard one to pin down.
It should be everywhere else. It should be in our... We're doing that. We've got 50% on our government boards, but it should become the norm everywhere. It's reflective of society.
What difference...
Would it be lovely if that was in the federal parliament?
What difference does it make?
Federal cabinet.
What difference does it make, do you think, in terms of the quality of the outcomes?
Oh, much better outcomes. Much better.
But do you Yes, but tell me...
Very much across the detail as well, Kerry.
Tell me how you identify what that is. What is the quality of outcome that is different or better now as a result of there being more women with input to the process? And what is it? Are you able to pinpoint something that women bring to the table that men may be less inclined to or less able to?
Well, if we're talking about equality, it's about having all voices around the table. We also have our first Indigenous minister, Leanne Enoch, who sits around that table. I like to see more people from a multicultural background sitting around that table. You've got to have diversity and you've got to have those voices there, otherwise the voices are unheard. Now, I go back to when I first joined COAG, I was the only woman. So, I went along to one of my first COAG meetings and they made some comment about, how does it feel to be the only chick? This was from a journalist. And, which I thought was quite offensive. Just on Julie Bishop left office and I got along very well with Julie. I met her a couple of times and we had good conversations and, she was a very effective Foreign Affairs Minister. And when she left, they talked about her shoes. Disgusting. And after that, I made a comment at an International Women's Day breakfast and I said, it's not the shoes you stand in, it's what you stand for.
But what are the hallmarks of good leadership for you? And in terms of, in laying that out, if you can give me a sense of the kinds of other leaders that might have influenced or helped shape your view of what good leadership is?
Okay, I think so. Going back many years ago, that's a very good question. Going back years ago, I suppose I couldn't see many role models in Australia. So when I went over to the US in '92, I was observing the Clinton campaign, and I met Dianne Feinstein, who was running for the Senate. And she did this debate, and I thought, oh my goodness, if she can debate like this, perhaps one day I could do that. So you cannot be what you cannot see. So I saw that.